I'm back, dating Chronicles. I need a little bit of help on this because I realize that I might be having a little bit too high of standards in this indication, and so any feedback would be helpful. I met this guy on a dating app, and this dating app is actually a very niche dating app. I'm not going to give a lot of specifics about it because it's for single parents, let's put it that way. So at that point, you're only attracting a very narrow window of the types of men out there. They're single parents. And by the time we get to a date, I have vetted them heavily. So there's a very narrow road through which they can reach a date with me. And I figure that's more intelligent as far as honoring my own time, because as I said in previous videos, I'm only giving them 35% of my time because I am decentering men, and that means dating and finding men takes up 35% of my life, which isn't a lot of time, so I have to be very choosy. So by the time they make it to this off-app texting scenario, they've already gone through a bunch of kind of benchmarks, and then if a date is planned, it's even more of like a very niche pool that we're drawing from here. So this guy and I decided to make cookies tonight because I don't want to go out to a big fancy dinner that's going to take 3 hours, which let's say within the first 20 minutes, I know that I don't like him, which let's get real, girls, like that's what's been happening lately. I don't want to spend the whole night making small talk. I don't care. I would rather make my own dinner at home. Also, I want to have an activity that has a start and end date, start and end time. Making cookies takes 2 hours tops. So I know if I don't like him, I can just skedaddle him right out the door and come back here on TikTok and file my nails. So lastly, I love making cookies. And if I'm going to spend time with a man on a date, it's going to be doing something that I like to do, which is making cookies. We also had this funny little banter back and forth about making cookies. So we decided, let's make cookies. Now, here's where I'm confused, because we planned it very spontaneously because I have a very strict schedule for them for dating. 35%. So I didn't have a lot of days available to go on a date. I have other things planned this week. So I texted him a couple of days ago, I only have tomorrow and Friday night available. So I realized that this was going to be a spontaneous date, and I was okay with that. He said, let's shoot for tonight. This was today, earlier. I'll call you after work. And I said, okay, I'm down with spontaneous because again, I don't have a lot on the line. I don't have any other plans tonight. I have plans all week. So why not? Let's squeeze a date in there. It's not my top priority. Okay. So I'm getting ready. I'm doing my makeup. I'm getting ready for him to come over for us to make cookies. He just casually drops, let's reschedule for Friday. I was just getting ready to text him my address. I told him I would text him my address an hour before he was slated to come over. So just as I was going online to send him my address, he flakes on me. Now listen, I realized that this was spontaneous. I realized that it was last minute. However, as I said to him in this text, I don't want to reschedule at this point because we were spontaneous. I had to do a lot of things leading up to this date tonight to make it happen. I had to make sure my kids were cared for. I had to hurry up this facial that I got earlier in the evening so that I could be home in time. I kind of straightened up my kitchen a little bit. So I made a lot of like frantic kind of arrangements to accommodate this date. So to me, to just be like, hey, let's reschedule, I realize that it's in the same vein of being spontaneous, but to me that's flaking out on me. And this is where I have a problem and why I responded in the way that I did, which I basically said, it doesn't seem like I'm a priority on your end, so I'm not interested in moving forward with you and actually seeing you. So I will now, you guessed it, block and delete. And the reason why I did that is because going out with me should be a priority. And he as a man should be working around my schedule, working around what works for me, because I am the prize and going out with me would be a huge advantage for him. So now that he's flaked on me and I'm annoyed that I wasted makeup, don't worry, I already made other plans for the evening. I'm going to go meet a friend. But I already had done my makeup and put forth effort to meet him. So now I don't trust that he values my time. I don't trust that he really wants to see me. And so no, I have no interest going forward in being with you or seeing you or dating you, because that is an ultimate ick to me. You should be bending over backwards to take me out. I invited you graciously to my house. You should be looking at that as a big advantage. You should be prioritizing that. And if you're not prioritizing me. That's going to be a pattern going forward in the relationship if it ever turned into one. So no, thank you. Goodbye. Let me know what you think, but it doesn't really matter because I already sent this text and I will be blocking and deleting as soon as I hear back. I kind of am curious as to what he's going to say because I may be wrong on this and I own that. And I would like to hear what he says, not because I think he's going to convince me otherwise. I'm just curious. I will not be going out with this man again because that's just how I feel, but I would love to hear any takes on this. I welcome them. I appreciate it. Good night. I'm not going on a date. Even better, I'm hanging out with my girlfriend. I'm actually happier about this.